want to see what's going to happen.
100% facts, man. Speaking of, dang, they're drowning, man. Getting ready to get eliminated. The Boston Celtics down 3-1 right now. Down 3-1 right now to the New York Knicks. Hey, Joe Jordan, I didn't expect this. You didn't expect this. We both had the Celtics. I think I had him in 5 or 6. I think you also had him in, I believe, 5. Yeah, I might have said 5 too, if I'm not mistaken. But we both had the Celtics winning this series, and this has been a shocker. And now, after Game 4, we just saw Jayson Tatum go down with an Achilles tear. Prayers up to Jayson Tatum, wishing him a speedy recovery. But that got me thinking, Joe, because I said something on the last episode, and I didn't forget. I did say I felt like Jayson Tatum was a little overrated. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful, but it's just how I was feeling in the moment. But seeing how he played in Game 4, watching him go down with that injury, and seeing how the Celtics looked after that, envisioning how I think the Celtics are going to look now without him, it's got me thinking, Joe. Do you think at this point he's undervalued, underappreciated, however we want to phrase it?
No, I don't think he's undervalued. You appreciate it. I don't. So first of all, is he appreciated? I mean, he wins first team All NBA probably almost every year. AJ. Also, when you ask somebody who's your top 5 players in the NBA, Jayson Tatum is in the top 5. Last time I checked, does he have an MVP? Anybody else in that top 5 is an MVP or about to get MVP? Is he a champion? He's a champion, but did he win MVP as a champion? No, he did not. Everybody else in the top 5, they are a champion. They were the best player and won MVP. So he's not overvalued. He gets the respect he deserves. The thing is, we probably overvalue him too much because the expectations are so high for him because we expect so much from Tatum. I always tell Boston fans, and anybody don't know me right now, I'm from Washington, D.C., but / Capitol Heights. Shout out to Capitol Heights, right? But I live I live in Rhode Island, aka in the Boston area, right? AJ, all the time meet people, and I always tell them, Jayson Tatum should be in the best player conversation. Think about it. He can score, he can dribble, he can shoot, he can pass, he's a defender, he can rebound, he can do everything. He's 6'10", 6'9", right? He got broad shoulders like Giannis. I mean, he got a long wingspan, and he has the best supporting cast in the NBA. But yet, he's not in the best player conversation, and it's because of him. We expect so much from him, but he underachieved in our eyes. You know why, AJ? I still remember in the playoffs when they went down 0-3 to Miami. In those 3 games, they went down 0-3 to Miami. Tatum was horrible in the fourth quarter. I remember them playing Golden State Warriors in the NBA championship. It was his first finals, but he broke the record with the most turnovers in the NBA finals. And then last time I believe he shot 30-something% from the field in the NBA finals. Even last year, I remember he was on track to win MVP, AJ. What happened? Game 3 in Dallas. He balls out in the first half. Second half, that's it. Yeah. Jaylen Brown took over in the second half. Jaylen Brown took over. That's why that Game 3 game was the game when Jaylen Brown took over. That's what won him the MVP and him guarding Luka full court the whole series. So I don't think he's undervalued. If anything, we overvalue him, meaning we put so much expectations on him because we expect so much from him because we know he can do so much. So I think he's getting the exact credit he deserves. And obviously, please, he had a gruesome injury. I don't want this to be a bashing on Tatum. I do wish for, pray for a speedy recovery. But injuries part of the NBA, man. I just want to see you bounce back because every setback is a setup for a comeback. There it is.
Yep. I saw you was getting it together. It was coming. It was coming along. Hey, man, listen. So for people who don't know, I think I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Me and Joe Jordan, we talk about these topics a bit. At least we say what we want to talk about, throughout the day, and we kind of start to prep throughout the day. And a lot of times I send topics or Joe sends topics, and I don't know if he has the answers to the topics that he sends right away, but I know in a lot of cases I don't have the answer. But it's something that's trending, and it's something that I'm thinking about. And so, like usual with a lot of these different topics, I kind of went back and forth. There's a side of me that does feel like he is disrespected because I do think there are some people that might not have him in that top five. I do think there are some people that view him as not as great as a Giannis, not as great as a Jokic, not as great as a SGA, not as some cats. I mean, I know last year I was pushing for Anthony Edwards. Like, I think Ant-Man a little better than so, and I know I'm not the only one. On the other side of it, I see the other side, Joe, where it's like, if he is undervalued and underappreciated, it's his fault. It's his fault. Now, like you said, Joe, went down with a terrible injury the other night. Wish him a speedy recovery. I have confidence he's still young. He's going to bounce back and be better than ever. We'll see how the Celtics look going forward in this series, right? But we wish him a speedy recovery. And I do think we will see the effects of him not being out there because he is super important to this Celtics team. This team is great, but he is super important to this Celtics team. But there is a reason why some, not all, there's a reason why some have questioned if he's the best player on his team. Joe, got some numbers to throw at you. Over the last couple years, Jayson Tatum has averaged about 27 points a game, 8 assists, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. Next season, 30 points a game, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. The following season, 27 points a game, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. This season, 27 points per game, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. This is the Jayson Tatum we expect to see in the playoffs. More importantly, this is the Jayson Tatum we expect to see in the finals. Jayson Tatum been to the finals 2 times. Jayson Tatum's numbers in the finals, both finals combined. Jayson Tatum averages. Are you ready for this, Joe?
I'm ready. Go ahead.
22 points a game, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, shooting 38% from the field.
38%.
Like, he has not played well at the highest stage. And we all know that is what makes guys into legends. That's what you're remembered for. When you get to that point, that's not to say Jayson Tatum hasn't had amazing playoff runs, amazing playoff games. Most notably a couple years ago where they were down, I want to say 3-2 to the Bucks, and he went nuclear in game 6 and extended the series to 7. He's had moments, but with the money on the line in the finals, yes, this past finals, he did a great job rebounding and facilitating, but offensively scoring, he just wasn't efficient at all. And then in this playoffs, we've seen a lot of the same thing. Him be non-effective on the offensive side of the ball, settling for threes when he should be attacking the basket, playing on the outside when at times sometimes he should be playing in the paint, getting switches with guys like Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson and not attacking those mismatches, settling for three-point shots and not shooting it effectively. Now, to his credit, like I said, before he went down with an injury, he was having a day. I said in the chat, he having one of them classic Mark Jackson, mama, there goes that man type of games. Like, it was one of them type of games. Like, yo, Jayson Tatum, respect. But it feels like too often he lacks those performances. Too often with the money on the line, he lacks those type of performances. I want to see regular season Jayson Tatum in the playoffs and more importantly in the finals more often, because the reason why we think of him in the light that we think of him is because we've seen him play extremely well in the regular season. We've seen him put up a lot of points, a lot of rebounds, a lot of assists, and be efficient in the regular season. But in the playoffs and in the finals, we see a drop-off. Maybe it's because defenses are game planning for him differently. We all know the playoffs is different. But we see a drop-off. And the last thing I'll say is this. And I don't think people talk about this. Like, people talk about it, but they don't talk about it probably as much as they should. Anthony Edwards has moments like this too. Like, Anthony Edwards, to my eye, has not been great this postseason. He just hasn't when it comes to efficiency. Now, his impact on the game has been great, especially in the Lakers series. Like, attacking the basket, defense collapse, drive, kick, bucket. Drive, kick, bucket. Oh, y'all not collapsing. Now I'm finger rolling in the paint. Now I'm dunking. Now I'm going crazy. He had a 40-point game against the Lakers. He had a 40-point game the other night. Like, he's had moments, right? But he's been very inefficient. The thing that he has that Jayson Tatum doesn't have is he has a certain aura. He has a certain pizzazz about him. He has a certain swagger about him that it's not Jayson Tatum's fault that he's kind of quiet and he doesn't have that. He kind of lacks that, but like he kind of lacks that like aura or pizzazz of a guy that's like the guy. You know what I mean? Like he kind of lacks that. And it'll be one thing if he was just a Jokic, where Jokic don't have that either, but Jokic is dominant.
Yeah.
But he's not as dominant, and he's also lacking that. So I feel like that's why he's excluded from these conversations. So to answer the question directly, I do feel like he is undervalued, but I feel like it is his fault that he's. I don't think it's our fault. If we undervalue him, I don't think it's our fault that we undervalue him. I think it's his fault. I think he got to be better. We know he can be. We know he. I think both of us would agree he's a top 5 player.
Yeah.
But he don't always play like a top 5 player, especially with the money on the line.
Yeah. See, here's the thing though. Ant has not been efficient, but he's been one of the top scorers in the fourth quarter this playoffs.
That's
Don't
true.
get me wrong. Tatum have balled out this last fourth quarter. He has. But look, I want to bring you something to the table to you, AJ, and bring you to a different situation where I said this. Jimmy Butler, right? There's been questions about him being a superstar. And the reason why people don't put him as a superstar, AJ, is because of his inconsistency in the playoffs. Last night, perfect example. He goes out, game 3, drops 33, super aggressive, take 22 shots. Then comes out down 2-1. Don't forget, the series tied 1-1. And you take 22 shots. Now you're down 2-1 with a game at home, going back to Minnesota if you lose or win, and you only take 9 shots? And it's like, Jimmy, what are you doing? Jayson Tatum is the same way.
Yeah.
Only difference is we kill Tatum because we expect Tatum to do more because he performs.
And he's
like
in
you
his
said.
prime.
He's young. And like you said, he shows us this in the regular season. And we know he can be better. Butler, he's an overachiever. You know, we look at brother like an overachiever. He don't have the skill set like Tatum. Tatum has a skill set to be the best player in the NBA. Like, why is Shea in the conversation? Why not Tatum? Literally, when you look at Shea and Tatum, Shea is literally there because of he's way more aggressive, he's way more efficient. That's it, for real.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're giving. I don't think we're overkilling Tatum. I think it's a privilege that we are killing him because he said himself in his press conference after winning Game 3, when you're that guy, here's what he said: when you're that guy, it comes with it. If you're that guy, we don't kill Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown been terrible in the series too, but we haven't talked about Jaylen Brown for real.
Yeah,
because we don't expect Jaylen Brown.
My bad to cut you off, but we about to talk about him a lot coming up pretty soon. Maybe not on this episode, but we're gonna talk about him a lot too.
And last thing I want to say before we move on to the next topic. This injury to Tatum, also AJ, I'm not gonna call it a blessing in disguise, which I think it is, right? And everything is always a blessing in disguise. God always take things that look bad in our eyes and flip it, right? But number one, we can, like you said, we can finally see Jaylen Brown. Because Tatum most likely gonna be out for the whole year. So I'm not talking about just tomorrow when they play the Knicks. I'm talking about next year when he's that guy. Number one, the whole season. What you gonna do, Brown? And then finally, AJ, we might sit back and actually appreciate Tatum more because we might see the Celtics not get home court advantage. You know what I mean? But it's also gonna flip if they turn around and be a number 2 seed or a number 1 seed next year. Then the slander is going to continue with Tatum. So,
yeah, I definitely think we're going to see the difference because I do think Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown are 2 similar players but very different. Like I think Jaylen Brown is a better defender. Jaylen Brown don't like. You said something. You said something in the chat in the last night. And you were just like, and for the people that's watching that's not in the chat, y'all need to join the chat. Y'all need to join the chats. The chats be popping every game day. Just join, especially the NFL, popping every game day. Every game day is cracking. But
can't wait to open the night. Woo, go ahead.
Oh yeah, for sure. But You said that I don't want to hear anymore that Jaylen Brown is better than Jayson Tatum. Like
He's
that's
on his
not.
level.
Yeah, like they're not on the same level. And I responded. You did. I don't know if you saw, it, but I responded. I'm like, I don't know, Joe. They both kind of been struggling this series. I'm not sure if I could fully agree with that. But then I sat back and thought about it, and I'm watching Tatum go off of 42, and I'm like, I feel where he's coming from. Even though Jayson Tatum not as consistent, Jayson Tatum's ceiling is higher than Jaylen Brown's ceiling. I think Jaylen Brown is more consistent overall. Like I think for the most part what you're gonna get from Jaylen Brown. He has his off days, but for the most part
More of
he's
a
pretty
dog.
even kill. He pretty even kill. Jason Tatum, like he could have a really rough night, but then he could go off of 45, 50, and it's like, yo, it's nothing that we could do with this man right now. So I get where you're coming from, and I do think the Celtics are going to feel the effects of not having that guy. That now maybe Jaylen Brown fooling us, and he can do that. We're going to see,
I know.
but they're going to feel the effects of defenses fully game planning for Jaylen Brown without Jayson Tatum there, and Jaylen Brown not being a guy that can elevate to those heights. He might get you 30. But when you start getting to 40, you kind of pushing it with Jaylen Brown. Like, I don't know if you're going to get you 40 to 50. Jason Tatum gives you that, like, he might go for 50 any given night type of feeling. So, but I think, like you said, I think it's going to play into his favor more. It's a blessing in disguise. People will see everything he means to Boston over the rest of this playoff series, which I don't know how much longer it's going to last. But over this playoff series and over the following season, for sure.
It's over.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
Pack it.
Yeah.
Next
And
season,
it's
Boston.
crazy because if Jason Tatum was healthy, I still would say Boston is, even if they lost, I still would be like, I think, bro, I have to see them get beat 4 times, bro. They've shot, and I'm going to talk about this for a hot second before we move on. The
Go
Celtics
ahead.
in this series have shot so bad from 3. I don't like how they settle for all these threes. Don't get me wrong, but it's kind of like they live by the 3, die by the 3. That's how they play. But they've shot so, especially in the first 2 games, they shot so bad for long extended stretches to the point where it's like, bro, they're not going to shoot this bad forever. They're not going to shoot this bad forever. And we saw in game 3, they lit it up. Game 4 was kind of a close game. The Knicks pulled it out, but they will be going back home to Boston. I think with Tatum, they will get that win. And then go back to New York. They will be one of those teams where it's like, I think they could come back. I'd have to see them out, bro, to be like, oh, they done. But now without Tatum, yeah, they're done. But if they had Tatum, I'd probably be rocking with the Celtics with this Laker logo in the background. I'll probably still be picking the Celtics until they get knocked off, bro. Like, I just think their upside, when they're making their shots, their upside is so high, bro. It's so high. When they're on, they're almost unbeatable. They're almost unbeatable team when they're on, bro. Like, they're easily the best team, but when they're off, they giving up 20-point, 30-point leads.
I'm with you, but like my mindset was whoever wins this game is winning the series. And this series, I was getting deja vu from the Miami Heat series when they were down 0-3. I was just like you. I've been there. I was like, yo, if there's any team that can come out from 0-3, I said it on all too well, it's this team against that team.
Yeah.
They did come back and Tatum got hurt. Like, it's literally deja vu, bro. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But we got